know what I miss? I miss the funny face Justin.
Oh, you want more funny
I want
faces?
more.
Stop
I want to
making...
put a little bit of Hakeem into Justin and less of Hakeem into Hakeem.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to a brand new Dear Shandy Bachelor in Paradise recap, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you?
We're back.
We are. It's been a minute.
We have been out of paradise for a long time.
I know, and paradise is now a different paradise. Shall we? Okay, no. First, we're going to do housekeeping, and then we're going to talk about the show. That's what we do.
Let's do it.
Yes, we have to keep the house. Do we have any housekeeping?
I don't think so.
Really?
I should have talked about that before we sat down.
Surely there's something. Wait, that's something we should really work on. We need to have new stuff going on.
No, we have stuff. It's supposed to, you're not singing.
Oh my
anymore.
God, the mouse. Oh my God.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh my God, he's just hanging out.
Yeah, he just, look. He's just,
Where's he going?
I don't know. He goes all over the place. Ruby doesn't give a shit. She's eating her Kong.
Okay, so for our listeners, literally we have a mouse that is so relaxed in our apartment. Like you would think that he would be a little more afraid of us.
There have been times when I've been sitting on the couch, like I'm maybe watching TV or just reading, and he'll come around and just sit there, and I honestly feel like I could almost pet him.
And the best is Ruby will be hanging out and she'll totally watch it go by and just be like, keep sleeping.
Yeah, her eyes, like her eyebrows are like this. She's like,
And here's the thing, we've tried to close off every single hole. We've done a lot of cleaning, getting rid of crumbs and food and stuff. I think we have to do a trap next, but we'll do a humane one.
We're not doing traps. I'm just letting, whatever nature has chosen for our apartment.
Oh yeah.
That is the way it will be.
So are we gradually getting another pet?
Yeah, we have a pet now.
I will say he is a very cute mouse.
He's super cute. There's a difference
This is
between
the
a
problem
mouse and a rat.
when animal lovers have a mouse, they're just sort of like, oh.
A mouse is cute, and the mouse lives here now, and that's it. We've done everything we can. The mouse has beaten us, and there comes a point where you have to accept defeat.
I feel like non-New Yorkers are going to listen to this and be absolutely horrified by us right now.
Yeah, probably.
We probably sound really dirty.
No, it's New York.
It is. It's New York. I swear, we're constantly cleaning. There's no crumbs to be found.
There's no room. There's too many mice, not enough spaces for them to live.
Yeah.
And so, we've taken in, Jesus would have said this is okay.
Jesus?
Yeah, Jesus would have said take in, the bedraggled, this is not from the Bible. I don't know what this is from. But Jesus said take in, people who are having a rough go.
Animals too.
Yeah. And this mouse clearly is having a hard time on the outside.
Is that it for housekeeping? Is that all we have?
Actually, it seems like we are not doing housekeeping. that is the problem.
Well, we have a paradise season to get to, Andy.
We do.
Guess what season this is? Let's see if you know.
9.
Very close.
10.
Very good.
Wow.
Season 10. It's been 10 seasons since I was asked to be on this show.
What?
They always come in sets.
Wow.
There is no way that is a normal amount of noise to make when you sneeze. You love drama.
No. The body wants an expulsion, and I'm giving it.
The shouting, though. It's the shouting.
No, it's not shouting. It's just your body's like, we want to get something out. Mm-hmm. And I'm giving it the best shot it's got at getting it out.
Okay. So, yeah, season 10. What were your thoughts on this?
First of all, the guy they got to run this show.
The showrunner.
The showrunner, the director, the
Isn't
videographer.
It Scott Tetty, was it? Yeah, Scott Tetty. Am I saying that right? Teddy? Tatey?
Tay.
I mean, since when do we really know the showrunner's name like this? We looked it up.
Yeah.
That says
That's
something. I feel like the show has been transformed. It's like they ripped off.
They ripped off Netflix, but they did it better, which is what all great art is.
Is it better?
I think they do a better Netflix than Netflix does.
How is it better?
It's just the shots are, there's such creativity.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Every shot is beautiful.
The whole thing is like a really souped up, high budget YouTube video.
Yeah.
With like jump cuts and like, it's like some parts are slowed down and sped up.
It's edited like a short, but for a 2-hour long.
Yeah.
video.
Yeah, you're never bored watching.
It's incredible.
Say. Yeah,
and it looks, every shot is good. There's never a shot that they're like, oh, just a throwaway shot.
One of your complaints, though, Andy, was that he makes some of these people look too good, and I don't mean physically; they're all beautiful, okay? Yeah. But like, you think that he made them look too interesting.
Yeah, they don't deserve to look this good.
Even some of their like exits. You know, it's like they looked so dynamic. There was so much going on. It's like, I don't know if that actually was that good.
He's turning them Hollywood.
Yeah.
When they're really maybe like Anaheim,
California.
That was a diss. No. I don't know anything about Anaheim. I'm just saying it's not Hollywood.
Our Anaheimers will now come for us.
I've never been to Anaheim. It could be an amazing place.
Yes.
It's just, I know the movie business is not there.
So we're in Costa Rica now in a new resort.
Beautiful. I
got to say this opening, it's like you sat up. You suddenly were paying attention where they showed the ending of Paradise and Jesse. I feel like they're finally taking advantage of Jesse's exceptional acting abilities.
Yeah.
I mean, this was really good.
He's good.
And then they did the rewind. I thought that this was pretty remarkable, honestly. I do feel like the whole show got a makeover. And something about the flashbacks to previous seasons now, like when they showed like Kat, for example, on the last season she was on, it suddenly looks so dated.
I know.
Like in a way that I didn't realize.
Looks sepia. Remember, they used to do sepia for the old Bachelor in Paradise, but now the old Bachelor in Paradise is the sepia for this.
Yeah. Well, the Bachelor traditionally has had a sort of like dark coloring to it. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's had sort of like an evening look to it, even when it's not evening. Yeah. I just feel like this is so bright, so crisp.
They've clearly done a complete makeover.
Yes.
And they needed to.
Okay, so our contestants enter now. We have Spencer. Andy, you said we like Spencer. We do like Spencer. Are we one of those couples that goes by
we are so past we? We were like 5 years ago.
Do you think that when we go out, people are annoyed that we say we?
I always wonder that. Every time I leave any sort of going out situation, I'm wondering if we're annoying. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be something that people who aren't annoying would worry about, and that's because they worry about it, they're not annoying?
I agree that the graph of annoying would be an indirect proportion to thinking you're annoying.
Yes. Okay, so Spencer compares himself to matcha, and we loved this because Andy is one of the people who thinks matcha tastes like dirt.
Yeah.
Alex, our Canadian, arrives, but she now lives in LA, and something about this disappointed me.
It reminds me of like, when you see those marriage announcements, someone who was like a teacher or like a... formerly a kindergarten teacher, now living in LA. Yeah. And here's the thing, maybe her career brought her there. Like, I've no judgment, but I just, as you know, she's the only Canadian. You like the Canadian stuff? Says the Canadian who lives in New York. I know.
Oh, I wonder if people feel that way about me.
See? Maybe you're annoying.
Alex admits that she uses the same soap on her face that she washes her ass with. Andy, you said, that used to be me. Before I got my hands on Andy's skincare routine.
She helped me out.
And there's a hilarious diss she makes when later on Jonathan asks if him shaving his legs is a turnoff. And she's like, no, it's not as bad as being serenaded on a first date.
Callback.
Burn. Yeah. They didn't even show anything, by the way. No. Notice that? They were just like, if you get it, you get it. If you know, you know.
They also, I think, again, they're just, for some reason, they can't shit on this guy. He's unshittable on.
Oh, Grant.
Yeah, every other bachelor would have gone on a flashback.
It's so
But they didn't show it.
They didn't show Grant.
They're not going to go there.
Okay, next we have Lexi. She's a one-on-one person, she says. So she's best one-on-one, not in a group.
I respect that.
Yeah. Do you, Andy?
One-on-one.
Andy you're waiting to see what the fuss is about with Lexi, you said. You didn't say that. I'm putting words in his mouth.
I'll accept that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just think she brings nothing to the table so far?
Not a whole lot.
I think she is slow to open up. I do believe she's a one-on-one person, and this is coming from a one-on-one person. Yeah. And I don't know, I like Lexi. I just think she's just more serious and in some ways not well suited to this show.
That's the thing. I often think that some people that you may not like too much on these shows are just not meant for the shows.
Yes,
and
totally.
in real life, you're like, oh my God, you're lovely.
100%.
You're just not a show person.
Yes. Next we have Jeremy,
almost a friend of the show.
Almost.
Yeah.
How come?
Bumped into him in the street.
Yeah, we did. How come? Why is he not a full friend of the show? Oh, because he's never been on.
He's never been on the show.
Yes. Okay. One of
He'll
these
still
days.
be a friend of the show.
Now we have Jonathan, who, okay, speaking of muscles, I have to say this was impressive. When he's on that pole and he goes totally sideways.
Oh, yeah.
That's unbelievable to me.
I cannot even dream of doing that.
So that's all like obliques.
I think it's core, a lot of core.
Core. It's like all core.
Exact core. And also arms. Definitely arms.
Like shoulders.
Shoulders and lats.
Yeah. And like glutes.
And honestly, legs too.
Yeah. Like the whole situation.
Flexors. Like you pretty much have to have every single muscle strong to do that.
That makes a
Maybe
plank.
Chest you could get away with. No chest. You don't need chest.
I feel like he would tell you there's also chest.
Yeah. Probably chest too.
Next, we have Bailey, who I gotta say looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She went from bob to braids.
I like the braids.
Me too. And Jeremy says her body was tea, and I'm going to be the honey to that tea.
Is tea good?
No, I wrote tea.
What is tea a thing?
Is this the new thing? Is this
Tea.
slang?
Is that TEA or is it just the letter T?
Well, he said honey to that tea. I assume.
Is that a 10? Like a 10?
But why honey? It would be like the tea.
Right,
drink.
but then he's mixing metaphors. That's been done before. It's okay. If 10
is Jeremy the mixing metaphors kind? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely the mixing metaphors kind. If T is short for 10,
yeah,
then I'm fine with honey to tea. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what tea means though. I'm old.
Even honestly, that was my takeaway. I was like, is this a compliment now? Okay, she's tea.
It's gotta be a compliment.
Her body was tea. We learned that Bailey cannot drink.
Tight. Was that
her
it?
body is tea.
Tea.
Maybe T stands
tea
for
is
tight,
truth.
and then it was a mixed metaphor. Maybe.
Tight or 10, I'm going to go with.
Okay. We learned Bailey cannot drink coffee. And Spencer says that hot girls have IBS. What did you think about this, Andy?
I mean, I don't know if
What's
IBS
your
and
experience?
hotness are correlated.
Well, in your dating experience, did hot girls generally have IBS?
I will say that I did date a couple of girls with some bowel issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were good looking gals.
I guess I'm not hot then. That's not my
hot
my
enough
issue.
to have IBS.
Next, we have Hakeem, frequent victim of the friend zone. We can't imagine why. Jess, I confess I didn't really remember her, but she really made a splash in this opening. Kyle from Katie's season. This kind of rubbed me wrong when he's going around meeting people and they're like, who?
Yeah,
and he would leave and they'd be like, what's his name again? Like,
yeah, he doesn't count. He has no clout.
Well, and it wasn't even like like, did you catch his name? Like, what was it? It was more like, what was his name?
Yeah, why is he here?
Like the tone of it was
he doesn't
like,
belong
I
here.
don't know him.
He doesn't belong here.
I don't know. It felt like, his clout
was
was
not enough.
Up to snuff. Okay, we have Zoe from Grant's season who is hell-bent on knowing that she's been misunderstood.
I love that. It's my favorite thing. I love people who are going to insist upon letting you know how misunderstood they are.
Which even that, it's so funny that she thinks that insisting how misunderstood she is in some ways different from how she was on Grant's season, where to me, she spent the whole season acting like she was misunderstood.
Yeah, we already got that she's misunderstood, but I want to know how. And I don't think Paradise is a place to prove how you're misunderstood.
I think we might have predicted this. Like, and here's nothing against Zoe. I just don't think Zoe, speaking of people for TV, I don't think Zoe is as made for TV as the powers that be have led Zoe to believe that she is.
I think Zoe...
Not that Zoe thinks she is. The powers that be have led her to believe.
There's a difference between ready for TV and camera ready. I think Zoe's camera ready, but she's been modeling and doing...
and she's like...
She knows how to pose.
Yeah, she
knows
walks.
how to walk.
It's like always a catwalk.
She always knows where the camera is.
Yes.
But I don't know if she's TV ready.
I completely agree. She's one of those people, Andy, where when she's asked where she's from, she says where she's from, but then she says, but I live in New York City.
Right in the heart of the city.
I think the people who are from New York, and I'm not from New York, I live in New York, but the people who say New York City.
Yes, I live this.
You live this?
I do say New York. I always say New York. And if pressed for an explanation, I will say New York City. And if pressed further, I will say Manhattan.
Oh.
And if pressed further, I will continue Upper West Side. And if pressed further, that's where I stop.
That's where you draw the line when they want an address.
Yeah, more than Upper West Side, you're not going to get unless I really am fond of you and get the keys.
Oh.
And you end up living here. and
Like
spending the rest of
me.
your life with me
Oh.
in a good way.
Yeah. I didn't even know when you gave me those keys that you do that
Oh,
so
I
rarely.
do not give out keys.
Yeah, he gave them to me so quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. Next we have Ricky from Jen's season.
I don't. Yeah,
I liked
seems
him.
like a nice guy.
Yeah, I liked Ricky.
Yeah, don't remember him that well.
Brian, also from Jen's season. So, I mean, most of the men, honestly, are from Jen's season.
Yeah.
And Kat, despite her last Paradise season, quote, throwing her ass in therapy, she is back.
We knew we'd see her again, right?
She couldn't resist. She's the honey to the Paradise tea. Okay, so Jesse finally arrives and introduces Wells.
He's back.
Our bartender. Yes, he's sat in that very chair.
He did.
We had a moment where, because it's been a while, honestly, since we've watched on TV someone who so recently was in our apartment.
That's true.
Am I wrong about that? Like, is Nick Vile's days of being on TV are like behind us?
Oh, right. Someone who's been in our apartment as
Yeah.
opposed to on the Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
so
agree.
it was kind of like, oh, that's
true.
weird.
Well, Joe was on that show.
Joe. Yeah.
Amabile.
Yeah, Amabile.
What was he on that show? It was like
I don't remember.
something.
Yeah.
Some
It's
TV.
kind of like Traitors-y, but not Traitors.
Yeah,
I
something.
didn't watch
Anyway.
that. Yeah. And now Hannah Brown has joined the cast for Paradise Relations.
All right. Like human.
What?
It was there.
No, God.
It's unbelievable.
Wait, it was right here?
Yeah, it came out and then I sort of made a sound and he went back in.
Have you been dropping food when
I
you've been
do
eating?
not drop food. I do not know what this mouse is eating. I think he wants company. I think he wants love.
Oh, he sees how good Ruby has it.
Yeah.
He's like, I want some of that. So I got to say, Hannah Brown, I'm sure there will be more there. And, you know, everyone knows I was a big fan of Hannah Brown's season. I think she's one of the best bachelorettes of all time. However, I have yet to really see what the point of her being there is.
Because she's famous in the Bachelor world.
She's famous. Yes, they thought she would draw some eyeballs. And you know what? She probably is.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Jesse reveals the women have the roses this week, which I thought was a nice change because for most Paradise seasons, the men
is that
have
how it
had
works?
them.
I
Yeah,
forgot.
week one, which I always hate. And he teases some life-changing opportunity, but nothing more. And yeah, the cast explores the resort, and the gist is it is a severe upgrade.
Oh, everything.
AC.
Everything.
They have beds,
They
real
went
beds.
turbo. They went.
What?
I mean, it's unbelievable. He doesn't care anymore.
So he's right
He
there.
was just hanging out.
This is stressing me out. This is ruining our recap. Okay, stop reacting. When
Okay,
you see the mouse, you
I'm just gonna
don't-
not.
Okay.
Can you that now? That's professionalism.
Yeah. Whatever.
Podcast right through a mouse running out
Yes.
right near your feet.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. 'Cause I'm a pro.
Okay, so Justin now arrives, and he says he feels like the guy who graduated college but is back at his high school.
No.
So
yeah.
Justin, I feel like says stuff like this where I'm like, oh, that's charming. But you know, Justin, Justin. I can't put my finger on Justin. And I felt this way about Justin for a while where I'm like, okay, he has a soundbite like that. And I like the kind of person that thinks of something like that to say. It's like, oh, I graduated high school, or graduated college and I'm at my high school. Like that, you know, basically saying I'm too old to be here. I'm out of place.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
like a self-deprecation to
Sure.
that. But then when I watch Justin in actual conversations, I'm like,
Yeah.
where's like I'm not seeing the human to human connection. Do you know what I mean?
I doop 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 doop. Doop 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 doop. When you want to buy furniture, but it's too damn expensive, then you go to Dupe and you put in the furniture you can afford. Not
No,
done yet.
oh, you're gonna keep going.
Then Dupe shows you cheaper options, and they use AI to do this thing. Then you're happy because you had your expensive looking furniture for less with Dupe.
Very good, Andy. So dupe.com, I'm obsessed with dupe.com. I have used it for clothing. I have used it for shoes. I have used it for furniture. You can enter the URL of the product, or you can even upload an image, and then they will show you alternatives that are like 80% less sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
They'll either be basically identical or so similar. And it's just so great. I mean, dupe.com, what a better name could there be?
It couldn't be a better name.
And did you know most furniture sold online, regardless of the brand, is actually made in the same factories? So Dupe basically exposes those markups that you're paying just based on the brand name. Sometimes I have found that the alternatives they show you, I actually like more sometimes. Like the slight differentials or like the dimensions. I'm like, oh, actually that Dupe is better than the original.
Why get duped into paying more?
I know.
When you could dupe it using Dupe. So dupe.com is so easy to use.
Just type dupe.com, that's DUPE.com / any product URL in your browser and
boom!
It instantly finds you less expensive alternatives.
They even have an app and a browser extension you can download.
No account required, no sign up required, and it's completely free to use.
So stop wasting money on brand names and start saving with dupe.com today. Sharleen, the doctor is in.
Oh, what kind of doctor? The eye doctor?
No, it starts with a Z.
Oh, okay, I understand now. The ZocDoc?
Yeah.
Yes, very good. Well, did you know eye doctors are on ZocDoc? Gastroenterologists, you found your...
Colonoscopy.
Yeah.
I found my colonoscopy on ZocDoc.
Yes, you did. All the doctors can be found on ZocDoc. And what's so great about that is it's not just a search engine for doctors near you, who have excellent ratings, by the way, from patients like yourself. This is important. On top of all that, you can actually book your appointments through ZocDoc online. You click just a couple of buttons. You don't have to call them, nor do you have to ask if they accept your insurance, because you can even filter on ZocDoc to show which doctors take your insurance. How amazing is that?
I know that ZocDoc has already saved many lives and will continue to save lives, not necessarily because the doctors on ZocDoc are better than doctors not on ZocDoc. It's because people don't like to go through and they don't know how to go through all the red tape to get proper medical care.
100%.
And this takes away all the friction.
Yes.
It's fun.
Anyone who's not using it is just living in the past, to be honest.
Or maybe they're already dead.
So ZocDoc is the free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors and click to instantly book appointments with them online.
So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Shandy to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/Shandy, ZocDoc.com/Shandy. I'm not seeing the human-to-human connection. Do you know what I mean?
We saw a little bit of the real Justin the first time he was on TV.
Yes.
I felt like we got him. And I think since then, and I think this happens to a lot of people in this franchise, is that they become what they think they're supposed to be.
100%. It's actually a microcosm for how we are in life.
Yes.
Like a lot of us, and I speak from experience, this is not a criticism on other people. It's like, I do it too. A lot of us sort of are like, is this what you want from me? Is this what you want to see from me? Is this what you want me to do? So I'll gradually become that person.
Right. And it's like it's the same thing. It's like a parallel between being born in the world and being born on TV. Because you're born on TV and you're like, oh, wow, I'm like an innocent guy just on TV. This is fun. I had a couple drinks. And next thing you know, all of social media comes after you. You start analyzing it. You watch the show over again.
Watching
you're like,
how people respond to you.
They like that, but they didn't like this. They like that, but they didn't like this. And you become like, it's like a computer program. And you're just like, I'm going to be that guy. And then the next time you're on TV.
How do I redeem myself? How do I improve the image?
The next time you're self-referential, you're talking about, oh, that's the thing I do. It's my thing. You got some catchphrase.
Totally.
You're acting more like the things you did that people liked, but you're more diluted.
Yes.
And then the next time you're on TV, it's even worse. He's been on now 3 times, correct?
Yeah.
This is the worst Justin we've seen.
So what comes to mind is a YouTube short I was watching just yesterday, actually, with Jim Carrey. And he was saying, I don't exist.
Yeah.
Like Jim
Carrey has
doesn't
become like
exist.
the world's philosopher.
Oh.
What's going on with that? He's amazing.
Everything that comes out of his mouth now,
he's like, a genius.
I need a pen and paper. I need to write this down.
He's a wizard.
He's really, he's just like
he's the wisest man
enlightened.
I've seen in the shorts.
Yes.
Any video under 1 minute, no one beats Jim Carrey.
So he talks about how he doesn't exist. Jim Carrey doesn't exist. Jim Carrey was like who he thought people wanted from him. He just gradually became what he thought the world wanted. Right. And then he alludes to his own depression. And he thinks that depressed really means deep rest because you're
deep rest.
Yes, deep rest. Did I not make that clear?
It's not totally clear.
Deep rest because you're so exhausted of playing a part that is not truly
You're acting.
Who you are.
You're at roll call. Not roll call. What do you call it when you show up to set? Call time.
You're on call.
Whatever.
on
You're
call.
acting.
You're on
You're
call.
on set.
Yes.
24. Well, not 20. You're sleeping. You're good.
Yeah.
You're at home
hopefully.
eating. You're in the can. That's fine. But like 8 hours a day, you're fully acting.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting.
Yeah, but
it's work.
even in the can, Bailey's taking selfies. How tiring must that be? Okay. Anyway, I'll link the short if I find it. If I can find it again, I'll link it below because I really like.
Yeah. He's
highly
incredible.
recommend. Okay, so about Justin, Lexi says, finally a man.
Yeah.
A man.
I mean,
at the ripe old age of 30.
Yeah.
Not a man according to you, Andy.
No, he's a guy.
If everyone knows that a man must be 36.
36 on the nose.
35, still a guy.
That's good.
Jesse now arrives, gives Justin the date card. Even these are upgraded, these date cards.
Everything. Branded date
Although
cards.
it was a branded date card, but there was no actual writing on it. It was just like, you have a date card.
It was a
kind
logo.
of, you know what it looked like? It looked like a business card.
I like it. I
There
like
was no-
everything they're doing. I have no notes whatsoever this whole season.
You're
10.
like, lay off the date cards. They're great. So Justin does the rounds. Of course, he ends up with Lexi. They talk first, obviously. He really leads with being older and,
so
on a
old.
timeline.
So
I love how
old.
he's like, it's not like I'm on some biological clock, but, I have a clock.
Yeah. Oh.
I just thought that was a little off color considering Lexi's, like when she was on The Bachelor, her storyline was about her
Did he say
potential
that because
inability.
he was trying to dig himself out from a faux pas, or did he totally slip up and say that inadvertently?
I'm not really sure why he said this because Lexi's
I know.
story on her season was her.
Biological clock.
Well, she might have issues with fertility.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, something about him saying this, I was like,
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Yeah,
I don't
but-
think he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Let's give
Justin
him a
doesn't know what
pass
he's
on
doing.
that.
Justin likes to act like he knows what he's doing, but I don't think he does. Okay, so Alex and Ricky.
You know what I miss? I miss the funny face Justin. I want more funny face Justin.
See,
you'd think if he took cues from the show, he would make more funny faces
I
now.
think Justin is making funny faces.
He's making funny faces.
I think he's making funny faces.
He's just not committing hard enough.
Oh, you want more funny
want more,
faces? Well,
yeah.
stop. No, let Justin be himself, Andy. Stop
I want to
making.
put a little bit of Hakeem into Justin and less of Hakeem into Hakeem.
Oh, poor Hakeem. Okay, so Alex and Ricky now chat. They established that he's a giver and she's a receiver. And she's like, I love this. I love this about her. She's like, I want to be in bed and be brought coffee and I am lazy.
I love it.
I love it that she could just say this.
Yeah.
And he was like, yes, I want to bring you coffee in
Nice.
bed. Like he was really on the same page.
I was
as
into
her.
it.
In the evening now, Kat and Jonathan seem to connect. We know this doesn't end up going anywhere though. Although Jonathan, I got to give him credit. What I like about Jonathan is he asks questions.
He does.
Just
He's a
do.
good conversationalist.
When Kat is like, I'm feeling kind of awkward, he's like, oh, why do you think that is? Is it because how does it feel different? Like he's asking follow-up questions. He is keeping the conversation moving forward. And I know this seems like a really low bar to be complimenting someone on, but I don't see a ton of that.
Yeah,
personally,
I agree.
In the conversations we're shown, of course, we're shown snippets, so I'll lay off slightly. But here he even says, he's like, what's the nerdiest thing about you?
Yeah.
I just thought that, he makes an effort in conversation
He does.
only.
Yes.
Only. Yes. But
Yes.
that's not a bad place to make an effort. She says that she's a cat lady. That's the nerdiest thing about her.
Cat.
I'm going to be honest, that was a bit of a letdown for nerdiest.
Yeah, it's not nerdy to be a cat
Loving
lady.
your pet is not
That's
a nerdy.
something. It could be sad if you want to make it that way. Give it a negative connotation. I don't think it is.
No, not at
Cats
all.
are amazing. If
Yep.
I'm surrounded by cats, I'm happy.
Anyone who says-
By the way, I've come around. I went through. It's like a honeymoon period. Like
Okay.
when you start dating someone who you're like so in love with, you stop seeing your friends. You don't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Like no other girls
You
or
fall
guys.
off the
You're
face
done.
of the earth.
And then you get back to normal.
Okay.
I had that with Ruby. I had a honeymoon period with Ruby.
had a year.
Where I saw cats. I was like, who cares?
And now you like cats
I'm back
again.
to cats.
Okay, but you love Ruby the
No,
most.
I love Ruby the most by far. No one touches Ruby.
Yeah.
But I love cats again, fully.
Oh,
like
okay.
fully. I'm actually like, I've seen some cats recently where I've gotten that feeling where I want to I want to chew their head. It's a good sign.
You still have your toxoplasmosis.
Yes, still there lurking.
Okay, so Jess and
remission.
Spencer now, they bond over having been cheated on, but it being a good thing in the long term. And these two pretty much couple up immediately. Like they're holding hands.
No.
They kiss goodnight.
No.
And I like them.
Yeah.
I do like Spencer.
Spencer's a good guy.
What I like about Spencer is when people make fun of him for something, he's able to be like, yeah, I'm a yapper.
He's a yapper.
It's like, whoops.
Talks too much.
Yeah, and he's like nervously yapping.
Yeah.
I just think that Spencer does not take himself too seriously.
I agree.
And I don't want to say that the others do, but it really shows. It like stands out how much he laughs.
I said it up at the top. We like Spencer.
You don't picture Spencer getting upset about someone saying that his silhouette and fun facts about him are vanilla.
Oh,
if you know what I mean. Okay, so Justin and Lexi's date is rained out. We'll circle back to that. So day 2 now, Andy. Hakeem sees Bailey strutting.
Yeah.
I thought this was funny, the slow-mo. They're good at the slow-mo.
That's great.
I mean, Bailey, can we talk about this? The butts? Am I allowed to talk about this?
You can talk about butts.
Well,
I'll follow on. I can't lead the conversation on butts, but you can.
I feel like historically there have been some butt shots on this season that would have been black boxed in past seasons.
I agree.
I'm not necessarily saying this shot, but there have been some shots.
And Lambo is out of a job.
Yes, Blambo. We won't be seeing him anymore. Okay, so Hakeem writes this makeshift date card thing, like a little note to Bailey saying her presence is requested. And then he sits down with her. Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Oh, Hakeem.
Hakeem.
I don't know if I've seen someone with so little game on this show in a while.
It's aggressively little. It's. I'd say little game is a compliment. It's like actually anti-game.
It's anti-game. You're right. It's not even non-existent. It's like the negative of game.
It's as if you said you try to make this woman not want to date you.
And she's fully eating while while she's talking to him, like words are coming out while she's eating. And Andy, you said this, so we'll call this Andy's dating take number 1 of the season.
Oh, thank you.
When someone's eating while they're talking to you in the early stages like this, they're not interested.
Correct.
And I mean, that might seem really obvious in this scene because she was so like not into him. Yeah. But I just thought that was interesting because I have to admit, when I have spent in my dating days time with a guy who I wasn't into, I like would take on a kind of like casual, like.
I think the mouth is a sacred place.
Yeah.
And when you're just, sort of popping food in over and over again, I think you're just not interested. And that, that's not to say if you're at a dinner date with a woman, I'm not saying that, you eat, people eat, but I'm saying if eating is not a requirement at that moment, but you're choosing to eat while a guy's talking to you or vice versa or whatever, bad sign.
Well, also, I mean, having been in that position, it's so true. The odds of me eating, knowing that like our mouths could come close together, even if it's not something that would give you bad breath or something, you're just sort of like,
you just want to keep that place ready.
Yeah, you're aware of it.
Yeah, you're trying to sell your mouth.
Yes,
your mouth is the portal. Your eyes are the portal to your soul, but your mouth is the portal to your body. It's so true. One of the most important. It's the most important orifice. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Nothing beats the mouth.
Yeah. We talked about the mouth recently.
Yeah, it's no question number 1.
Yes.
So you don't want to sell your mouth. It's something that's just being stuffed with food.
It's true.
Just a fact.
Especially not like a crispy, like crunchy chip type thing.
Absolutely.
It's not like
it's
a
like
strawberry with champagne.
Like a delicate olive on a toothpick.
Yeah.
You have one, you just stick it and you're like,
or
nice.
I'm thinking like strawberries and champagne. Like that can be kind of like, ooh.
Or like a raspberry, like one solitary raspberry on a toothpick.
Yeah, a perfect raspberry.
Absolutely fine.
Why the toothpick?
The toothpick just makes it more dainty.
Okay, so now Dale arrives.
Ooh, big shot. Big guns. Big guns, Dale.
Are his guns that big?
Just he's big. He's a big shot. He's a star of Bachelor Nation.
Everyone kept talking about Dale.
He's big.
Dale.
He did Blade commercials in the city. Blade, that helicopter company.
Do you have to be large to do Blade commercials?
Well, he just looked like he was important and serious. He was going off in a helicopter somewhere. He looked like he had big business to do.
So I'm going to say something that is maybe inappropriate.
Go ahead.
I find Dale a little overrated.
Ooh.
And it's not like, I think he's a good looking guy. And I have to imagine in person, he's extremely imposing. Everyone kept talking about he's so tall, he's 6'5" or whatever. But all these guys are tall. 6'1", 6'2", 6'5". Like it's just an inch at that point.
No, that's a big inch. Over 6'4", you start looking hulking.
It's more that like I want someone with like a twinkle in their eye and like a sort of like a something like a zing. And Dale, I just find a little like
a little milquetoast.
But
also seems like a nice guy.
No, he
seems like an adult. I have no issue with Dale.
As far as we know, I do think Dale. We don't know really what happened between him and Claire Crawley, but like I think it kind of ended in a messy way, to be honest.
I mean,
I think that he's not so squeaky clean. He just comes across squeaky clean when he's got cameras on him.
Again,
And when he's in Blade commercials.
he did a good Blade commercial.
Yeah.
No lines, just good physical acting.
Lines.
Yeah. They were like,
I love that you felt the need to add that. No lines.
He had a line, but then they're like, "No, Dale, just stick to the looks."
No, Dale, I will say, seems absolutely like a lovely person.
I think he's lovely. I have nothing bad to say about him. I just don't think he deserves the kind of clout he has, maybe. But he did marry Claire Crawley, and she did pick him.
They did not get married. They got engaged.
Married-ish.
Yeah.
In Bachelor Nation, that's married.
Yeah, and also they made a big deal about the fact that Claire saw him and was like, "You."
Well, that
like
was
the show's over. It's you. But I'm also like, but it was Claire. Like it's very Claire to do that.
Wasn't he like 10 years younger than her?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, dating a 6'5" male model 10 years younger than your bad call, in my opinion.
He is deemed man handsome by the group. And he's 36. So, Andy, according to you, he is indeed a man.
He's a man, he's tall, and he is handsome.
He is. I will say this about Dale. He's very striking. But for me, I am a sapiosexual. So I need more than just striking.
I think he may have the sapio.
You think?
And I think if you saw Dale in person, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, he's a good-looking man."
Well, all of these people are striking in person. To be honest, we've met enough TV people to know that every single person's better looking in person.
Yeah,
across the board. Yeah. But for me, it was all the hoopla. If he arrived like everyone else, I'd be like, "Yeah, Dale, like he's a good-looking guy." But it was just like all the fuss.
I'm not ready to diss on Dale.
Oh,
I like Dale.
Okay.
Yeah, I like what I've seen so far.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
Seems like a good guy.
Well, he gets the date card, so he makes the rounds. He first talks to Zoe, who's clearly very into him. Alex, who is so nervous that she's just like not even making sense.
This was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
This made you fall in love with Alex.
I already was in love with Alex.
Yeah, Alex
is the best.
Yeah, Canadian, of
course.
Canadian. She was so cute. Here we do learn that
she's blushing. She was blushing. That was the cutest nervousness I've ever seen.
Yeah, she was making no sense.
None.
It's more based on her reaction to him that I'm like, wow, Dale really must have. He
must be imposing.
Yeah.
Or she was just like nervous. Was he so like famous in Bachelor Nation? I don't know. But she doesn't strike me. Alex doesn't strike me as someone who'd be intimidated by that.
Yeah, and someone who's been in Bachelor Nation for a long time now. I don't know if I'm like, ooh, Dale, that's Bachelor Nation royalty. He's not really like...
Yeah, and he's been out of the game for a while. He's been in the Blade game.
Well, he's also been busy with his businesses.
Oh, yeah, he's got businesses.
He's got his businesses.
Yeah.
Okay, so he talks to Kat now. And Kat in her ITM says, "We love a man over 35. They're sleepier."
I love this. She's Kat,
so right.
Kat drops some wisdom sometimes.
Kat drops a good ITM. She
does.
is
the best ITM.
She's
no one
commentary, gold commentary.
Yes.
Okay, so Dale chooses Kat for the date. They go on this catamaran date, and he says she has a calming aura for him. And I thought this was interesting now. So they do this shot of Kat like gazing at him, thinking about how hot he is. And then it goes into this sort of him with this captain's hat on, like spraying sunscreen on himself and like down his trunks.
Yeah.
And he had to have acted that.
Yeah. They said after they did that whole thing, they're like, "I think it would be funny if you did this thing where we have an idea. So just spray this stuff on yourself and wear this hat."
I couldn't help though, but because they're not technically actors, like where's the line? I just thought that was an interesting call because it is supposed to be reality TV. And so something about them now playing themselves as someone else's fantasy,
I have to be honest,
me was a little like...
I got to be totally honest with you.
This was the choice I wasn't into.
I thought this was the one slip up.
I agree.
On this whole production.
I agree.
Yeah, they went too far. That wasn't, we didn't need that.
It was too...
self-referential, performative.
Yeah,
it was also low-hanging fruit. It wasn't that funny.
Yeah,
it's like too obvious.
Yeah, there was another.
And it also
moment
takes me out of the relationship.
Totally.
Now I'm like, is this all false? Is this all a ruse?
Yeah, and I can't help but think, like, what was the conversation had where it's like, Dale, we're going to give you this hat now, and we want you to do this funny montage, and we're going to insert it, or like, did they tell him where it's going to be inserted? Like, I don't know. It just gave me more questions than answers.
Also, why are you spraying sunscreen on your junk? Who does that? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, you could see how he would be good in a Blade commercial. I mean,
absolutely.
He really played the part.
No one's ever done a better Blade commercial than him. Squarespace. That's nice. Squarespace. in honor of recently passed July 4th.
Yes, that's how important Squarespace is.
Sounds like July 4th died.
I know.
But seriously, Squarespace is as worthy of celebrating as the 250 years that our country has been around.
Yes, because Squarespace is your destination for making a beautiful website. This is quite the segue. A beautiful website with little to no design experience. And this is momentous, Andy.
Yeah,
because
let the fireworks fly.
So basically with Squarespace, they help you pick a template based on what your website's purpose will be. And then you can plug in all these features to really customize it and make it your own. So let's say you provide a service and you want to be booked, like scheduled. Let's say you're an artist, you want to show your portfolio. They have gallery options for you. Let's say you want to have a mailing list or a blog. Let's say you want to sell product. They do all of this. And then they even help you with like font selection. They have like font packs, color packs. It just, they honestly make it so easy to make something look stylish, if in case that's not something you're good at. And it's hard to be good at that.
Squarespace. Squarespace. So go to squarespace.com/Shandy for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code Shandy for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Again, that's squarespace.com/Shandy for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use code Shandy for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Sharleen, remember the days when we used to let money trickle out of our pockets to various subscription services that we weren't aware we still had?
You know, there's nothing worse than just leaking money like that. Trickle's better than leak.
Yeah. You know what stops the trickle?
Rocket Money. Rocket Money stopped my trickle. It stopped your trickle. We were both spending money, small amounts. It's not necessarily a big noticeable amount, but it adds up over time. On subscriptions, we were either not at all using or hardly using, and in many cases had completely forgotten about.
Yeah, and how many services are out there that are actually interested in keeping your money in your pocket rather than sucking it out?
And not only does Rocket Money help you identify and cancel those subscriptions with just a few taps, but they also keep an eye on your spending. They keep an eye on things. They're like, hey, was this you? And one of my favorite Rocket Money features is they even help you lower your bills. And this is just such a, like, it's like having an assistant, basically. You take a photo of your bill. I did this with my phone bill, and you send it to Rocket Money, and they will negotiate a lower bill for you, and they will even handle customer service.
Ooh. It's too much. They're doing too much.
I know.
So Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions.
Saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features.
So cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money.
Go to rocketmoney.com/Shandy today. That's rocketmoney.com/Shandy, rocketmoney.com/Shandy. Despite the winds getting rocky and her feeling seasick, they end up making out.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alex and Jonathan now back at the
Cat and her man on a catamaran.
Yes.
I get there's a song there. That's good. With their cats. Oh, that's just cats and cats. Same word. Okay, go ahead.
So Alex and Jonathan back at the resort. I thought, I couldn't really figure out what was going on here. She's like, you've got white junk in your armpit.
Why didn't he take the junk out?
And he was just like, oh.
Hey, what's up with that? Take
and she's
the
like,
junk
it's
out
still
of your
there.
armpit.
And he didn't even look. Was he being funny?
I think he was annoyed that she was pointing it out. He's like, don't point it out. I don't want everyone to be focused on the junk under my armpit.
But it was really a big chunk of white stuff.
He should have been like, oh, what do I got there? Oh, yeah, here we go.
It was significant. Either this was so deadpan and was Jonathan displaying his sense of humor, or I was like...
I think he was annoyed. I think he was like, don't talk about what's under my armpit. Just focus
like the cameras are right here.
Focus on my beautiful face.
It just made me wonder how hyper aware of the cameras he is. It just was an odd interaction. That's all. It was odd. It made me...
And I thought it was nice for her to point it out.
Yes.
Because it was something that he wouldn't have wanted people seeing.
And I don't want to sound so nitpicky, okay? It's just that when we're watching a show where they do act out scenes about themselves, we now know... I can't help but try to read between the lines of who these people are and who their authentic selves are by little moments like this. And I just thought it was interesting that he would not even look at his armpit. Instead, he almost seemed annoyed.
Yeah, he can't. He's perfect physically. How dare you?
Okay, so the gist is they're interested, but Jonathan's got his options open. And this is, to me, this is Jonathan
Yeah.
Jonathan and Jeremy. We'll get to Jeremy. But these two, I think they arrived with their options open and they are going to leave with their options open. Their options and shirts open.
I agree.
Okay, so...
And you know what? I'm not going to fault them.
So now we have an informational exercise where they have to put these like or heart sticker things on the silhouette. I'm explaining this poorly, but if you're watching
if I had never seen this, I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, well, they have these silhouettes with these fun facts or these quotes about themselves, and then they have to basically say whether they like them or not.
Yep.
Is that better? Okay, so the big talking point here is that Ricky makes an offhand comment about Hakeem's silhouette, which gets no likes, by the way. Oh, that's sad.
Hakeem,
Poor
really?
Hakeem, even his silhouette, even his quotes. Even his quotes, the things about him that have nothing to do with his game. That's what was sad about this.
Hakeem.
Ricky calls it vanilla, the silhouette.
All right.
He doesn't call Hakeem really vanilla. He calls the situation vanilla.
I mean, he's right to some degree.
Well, Hakeem does not take kindly to this.
No, he does not.
Because he fancies himself far more interesting and dynamic than vanilla.
You know what? An interesting and dynamic person would have taken that joke well.
Oh, so you think all this showed was Hakeem's insecurity?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I really, like, this was such a classic case of get over it.
Like, of all the things, like you put in all this work and you sell your soul to go on this show and then you ruin it all by having a fight about your silhouette being called vanilla?
He must have been drunk, right?
It doesn't matter.
Because here's the thing.
Even if you're drunk, you should have fights about bigger things.
And honestly, Ricky, I thought, explained himself pretty well. He was like, it's a flavor. Everyone likes vanilla. It doesn't necessarily mean boring.
First of all, he explained himself well, and he was absolutely right.
Yeah.
You either get a lot of hate, or you get a lot of likes, or you get something in between. But if you get nothing, it's vanilla.
Yeah, I do.
And by the way, vanilla is a good flavor. So he has a backup argument there too.
Yeah.
I love vanilla.
You think vanilla's the best flavor.
We talked about vanilla. I talked about how vanilla, the name, has been maligned in culture.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be. Vanilla should be like, oh, well, it's good.
I do think that Ricky fought back a little bit more than he needed to, though. Like, I feel like this escalated.
You should have laughed it off. You should be like, sorry, bro, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because we saw an ITM of his where he was like, I don't want to look bad by association here. But I do feel like in the moment, he was just sort of like, trying to change Hakeem's mind when it was clearly just like, oh, you're having like a crazy reaction to this.
You know what? One of the golden rules of Bachelor in Paradise is guys cannot fight with guys over things that don't have to do with women. Death sentence. Very unattractive.
It is very unattractive, I gotta say.
If you're fighting over a woman, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, who, me? Yeah, but it's not. You're fighting over vanilla? Come on.
This brings us now to Sam, because it's like, who's this silhouette? And Sam arrives. This ended up being rather unceremonious, honestly.
Yeah.
I think what we learned is Sam is also not built for TV.
No, he never
looks built for TV. Sam's got the look. He's got the look.
He's got the look.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Sam is that song. Sam has the look with a capital L. But, you know, he doesn't really... What did we learn about Sam that we didn't know already?
Question. If you met Sam in real life, would you be like, wow, there's so much more to Sam than I thought? Or would you be like, yeah, that's the Sam I saw?
How drunk are we?
To be hanging out with Sam?
Just like how, you know, I need to know what else is in the mix.
We have 2 drinks in us.
All of us have 2 drinks?
All of us have exactly 2 drinks.
How many drinks does he have in him?
8.
I mean, I think I'm seeing more to Sam then.
Yeah, I think there's a little more there.
I think Sam's got a lot of, you know, he's exactly, Sam has got walls.
He's got a lot of walls. He's a tough guy. He likes to be a tough guy. Yeah. And that's, you know, I don't know if he's a tough guy in real life, but he probably is. It takes
a lot of focus and energy to keep the main thing the main thing.
That's right.
He is given a date card, asks Jess on the date. Yeah. They bond over being from Tennessee. Was he from Tennessee?
Oh, I didn't know that.
They bond over whiskey.
They bond over the South and whiskey. Yeah.
And he asks Jess on the date, much to Spencer's chagrin. Yeah. And now we see Jeremy and Bailey walking on the beach and kissing. Okay. Yeah. So now it's the evening.
Are you just gonna
what?
Just gonna roll over Jeremy making out with Bailey?
We're gonna come back to them because there's more making out later.
Okay.
Okay. So now it's the evening. Bailey and Kyle talk. I really respected this. She sat Kyle down and was like, "I want you to know that like I'm not set in stone, but this is where I am, and I think you're really great." Like she was just very direct, which I feel like a lot of people aren't necessarily. They would just start making out with the other person more and more and more.
Totally.
And I do think at this point, Kyle did have a shot.
I like Bailey.
I like Bailey a lot, and I also like Kyle a lot. And in his ITM, he says, if she's really cogitating and mulling it over.
Kyle.
Cogitating.
I didn't know what that word was. I never even heard that word.
Neither of us knew what cogitating meant.
Yeah, but I never, it's one thing to not know and be like, oh, I've heard that word before, but I don't know what it means. I never heard that word. I've lived on this planet for so many years.
Yeah.
I've spoken this language. I've never heard that word.
Yeah.
I've never read that word.
Okay, so the question is, did he use it purposely? Was he
No,
like
I think
inserting?
I think that's one of his words. You know what I think though? This is what I'm saying. I like Kyle. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think once he was like reading something and he saw that word, he's like, I'm going to look that word up. And he looked it up and he's like, that's my word now. I'm going to use that word.
I'm going to find a way to throw that one in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, 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 really like Kyle.
Yeah.
But I also don't think Kyle is made for... he could have been made for TV. I just don't think he really got a chance, honestly.
Kyle feels like some guy from like the early seasons of Bachelorette.
Yes.
Yeah, he seems like an old school.
Yeah, he doesn't play the game
No,
enough.
he's just like a regular guy.
He's like too sincere.
Too sincere.
He's spending his free time reading books, not getting an extra pack of
He's
abs.
cogitating too much.
He's cogitating too much. The one thing I don't like about Kyle is that in his ITMs, he refers to himself as your boy.
The third person thing. It's always rough, but you know.
Okay, so Alex and Ricky now. Ricky's very business about his pursuit of her. He's only interested in her. He only has eyes for her. And Andy, you said, oh, it's over. He's too businesslike. He's talking about the thing that you don't talk about, which is the pursuit of the person. Don't talk about the pursuit, just pursue them.
Do it.
But then this morphs into a kiss.
Yeah, I was surprised. But you know what he got away with? He's a good kisser.
He
allowed a weak moment,
yes.
like a contrived moment to turn good, but she's such a good kisser.
Yes, she was weak in the knees.
Yeah, you could tell she wanted to leave. She's like, okay, we're good. Let's move on. And then she's like, oh.
Yeah, we did not see that coming. It seemed like he had a shot.
It's like going to a restaurant that's like, you're like, it's like, it's fine.
But then the dessert.
And the dessert is so amazing. And you're like, wait a second. Let's give this place another chance.
You
knew.
I know that though. That feeling when you're like, oh.
Was I wrong?
This restaurant, it was so overpriced. The service was average. Like, I'm so annoyed. And then you get the dessert only because you're so unsatisfied by what you ate. Yeah, and then the dessert is like world class. And you're confused.
Yeah. And then you go back and you're like, shit, I should have never come back here.
Ricky's better than that, though.
Absolutely.
Ricky's so much better than that.
The analogy ends at the dessert.
We're not comparing Ricky to the average restaurant because I actually really like Ricky.
No, I think Ricky's great. He's just, for Alex, I think he was a mediocre restaurant with a great dessert.
Yes.
For someone else, he could be at, Michelin.
But what I like about Ricky, he's got like, he's like an older soul in that I feel like he was like, this is the girl that I'm interested in.
I agree.
So I'm going to pursue the girl that I'm interested in. And I think that had she chosen Ricky, I don't think he was going to stray in subsequent weeks. Like, I think that Ricky really liked Alex the most.
I agree. And I'm a fan of Ricky.
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of these guys, I understand they're there to play the field. They're there to meet lots of people, all the things. And we can't all be golden retrievers, right?
Yeah.
But I just appreciated this about Ricky. The word that kept coming up was intentional. I appreciated that about him. Yeah. He was only interested in her, the way Kyle was only interested in Bailey.
Yeah.
But you know what? These men, you know what they don't have? Starts with a C.
Cogitation.
And
confidence.
No, I think they have some. Second letter is L.
Closure?
No. Third letter is O.
It's also closure.
Fourth letter is U.
Clout.
I don't think they have
clout. Oh my God, you're right.
You're telling me that if Kyle were like third place on his season, that Bailey would be so quick to overlook
You're
him?
So right.
I hate to say this, but I do think it's true. You telling me that if Ricky had made it to final 2 in his season, that Alex would be like,
so
Jonathan,
true.
who made a fraction of the effort with me.
100%.
That's what I think
100%.
personally. And I'm not saying that these are clout chasing people. I just think that it happens naturally. The way they were with Kyle, they were like, who is he again? What was his name? It's like they don't even know how not to be like that.
100%. I don't blame them. I do not blame them. This is part of the game.
Yes.
And you know what? When someone does pick someone with no clout on these shows, generally speaking, it's real. Like it's a real relationship.
Totally. So now Jess and Sam go on their energy cleansing date.
Do we need these dates anymore?
No.
These are stupid dates.
Well, I find them stupid when you don't actually spend the time doing the thing.
No, it's just, it's a ruse. There's no real thing happening.
If I were was it a shaman or whoever
it was.
Yeah, I would be I would watch that back and be like, really?
And also they're disrespecting the ceremony. They're making out.
Yeah.
And what is he doing there? He's just like standing there like.
I mean, these two, I don't even want to spend too much time talking about them because really not much is said. She says it's nice to relate to someone who just gets it. He says, that's what I want.
Yeah. There's a kind of continuation of Jen season. It's like
not
much
a
being
lot.
said.
She says we have very similar feelings about where we're at and what we've been through. And they make out.
Maybe we missed the conversation.
I guess that's a summary of what they talked about, but there's just not a lot of substance.
Maybe we missed it.
Okay, so Zoe and Brian now lay on the beach and look at the stars and maybe planets. There's some debate. And Andy, you chimed in to tell everyone.
Stars twinkle, planets don't.
There you go. So when in doubt.
Yeah.
They make out, and the gist here is that she now deems Brian worthy. She's into Brian now, presumably because Dale did not ask her on that date. Okay, so Bailey and Jeremy now, Andy. It's getting juicy. They sit down and chat. It's very flirty, and then this turns into a deep makeout. And by deep, I mean the most sacred parts of themselves are like up in each other's business. I mean, he's like, they were like, I didn't know mouths could get that on each other.
Yeah.
And Kyle witnesses this and says that America will be on his side. We are, Kyle.
I mean, that might be true, but I'm not sure.
You don't say that.
Yeah.
You don't think you say that. I'm on Kyle's side.
I know, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, so day 3 now, Justin and Lexi finally go on their date. And then you said, oh no, they're both not looking at people while they talk people. I mean, they really aren't.
They are.
They only look at the other person while the other person is talking. When they talk, they're like, okay, blah, 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 blah,
yeah,
blah.
They do the exact sort of opposite of the amount of time you should be looking away when talking. So like when they look at the person, that's when most people would look away.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, like, yeah, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They're like, is that good?
I know exactly what you mean. So Susie comes up here. Okay. And so this is how we all know Susie will eventually be coming on the show because she is mentioned too often to not eventually play a part.
Yeah.
And I think that they know too.
Yeah.
I think Lexi knows Susie's coming. I think Justin knows Susie coming. Everyone knows Susie's coming.
Knows.
Justin insists, I wouldn't be here with any intentions outside of the purest. That should be on a t-shirt.
It's funny.
Okay, so now it's the evening of the rose ceremony. The women have the power, as we know. And Hakeem toasts the group to, among other things, more sex. And there's a hilarious shot. They all toast. And then he's like, ha! And like no one is looking at or talking to him.
More sex. Positive vibes, baby! We try to keep everything positive.
Hakeem. Oh, sweet Hakeem. We'll circle back to him.
Dear.
So we have the cocktail party. Jess is in a love triangle and says it would be a little easier if one of the guys put in a little more effort, a little more pressure. They're giving her so much space that she's like, ah.
Yeah.
But I actually don't know if this is true. I think she was not that into Sam. I think she just thinks Sam's hot.
I think we were made to believe she was.
I agree.
It was a fling within a fling.
Yes. Lexi is stressing out about Justin's timeline of his breakup. And I wrote zzz because
Lex.
Alex's love triangle with Ricky and Jonathan. The gist is Ricky's put in all this effort. Jonathan hasn't. I love this about Alex is that she sits down with Jonathan and she's like, so this is where we are at. You have not put in much effort.
Yeah, I like it. Canadian.
Direct.
Yeah.
She cuts right to the chase. And Jonathan, of course, is like, what?
Yeah, what? I put in so much effort.
Yeah,
No, he hasn't.
He disagrees. And he says he will put in more effort. He smiles at her. I feel like when Jonathan smiles, there's like a ding.
Yeah, I don't understand why he doesn't put in more effort. Is he used to girls just fly? Is he like honey? He just expects the bees to come?
I think Jonathan is a bit of grass is greener to him. He would say it's because he's been hurt and so he's like walled off. But I actually think Jonathan is extremely non-committal and doesn't like to put all his eggs in a basket. And it's like he doesn't allow himself to get excited about something because it's like, yeah, but there might be this other thing. And it's not a judgment. I mean, he's super young. Yeah. But I get that vibe from him. So Hakeem now is in the bathroom. He's giving his own reflection a pep talk while he puts in eye drops. And Andy, you said this guy needs to get off TV as soon as possible. He makes the rounds. He tells Bailey that she's subjectively gorgeous.
Okay. I'm going to just stop. Let's have a, first of all, let's give this the appropriate attention. Oh, Hakeem. This is one of the most amazing things that has ever been said on the beach.
Hakeem.
He said that she is subjectively gorgeous. Now,
I wish they'd shown her reaction more.
I don't, look, this is not a grammar thing. This is amazing. This is one of the most amazing things I've ever heard.
Yes.
Can you imagine saying that to someone who knows intimately the difference between subjective and objective? What if I said that to you on our first date? Would I have made it? Would I have made it if I said to you, no, I'd been over?
There would have been no second date. I honestly, Andy, I think your next business venture should be coaching men on how to date. And it would start with not making mistakes like this.
That's pretty low bar. Okay, now you're in the bar. First thing.
Oh, Hakeem. And here's the thing. I think Hakeem knows the difference between subjective and objective.
Oh, I do too.
I think he probably watched that back and like face palmed. He's just so nervous. He's not himself.
That was literally,
he's a mess.
It's written comedy.
Yes.
To call someone subjectively beautiful. Yes. It's written comedy.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing that we're even trying to comment on it.
That's the thing. Alone. I'm floundering because as we discussed this before, you can't take something that's hilarious and make it funnier.
It's perfect.
It is what it is. Just leave it alone.
So this is basically him complimenting every girl, which I got to say is not game.
Oh gosh.
Complimenting women.
But it's also complimenting in a very manic way. Very weird.
Yeah.
It's bad energy.
It wasn't even specific. It wasn't specific.
He was
just going around telling them that they're all doing everything great.
He was having a complete meltdown. This is not good.
Bailey and Kyle now, as Kyle showers her with compliments, we hear Jeremy talk about how he wants to keep his options open. Andy, you said Jeremy needs to stay out of the sun. He did. He was sporting quite the burn. Okay, so this brings us to our rose ceremony. Lexi gives her rose to Justin. Andy, you said, all right, all that boring shit for nothing. So this was Lexi debating about Susie, the timeline. Okay. Zoe gives her rose to Brian. And Brian in his ITM... I really hope Brian's really into Zoe. I want to see Zoe blossom. I want to see Zoe find love and like become the softer, nurturing side of herself that we know is in there. But it first requires picking the right person. And Brian in his ITM says that he got his rose and that's all that matters. I didn't love that. I'm not judging yet, but you know, I think I would have preferred it if he was like, Zoe's all that matters or something. But yeah, they just met. I'm going too hard. Kat gives her rose to Dale. Jess gives her rose to Spencer.
No.
I have to say I called it.
That was a good call.
You thought there was a chance she was going to give it to Sam.
There was a chance, yeah. It makes me, actually in a way, it makes me respect Jess more.
Definitely.
Because she could have easily gone for Sam.
Yeah, but
he has more clout. No. Although that's questionable. He has bad clout.
Yeah,
he has infamous clout.
I think if anything, the type of clout he has might have been
you would want to say that's toxic clout.
Yeah, she's like, that's not the kind of
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get bad hate on the onlines.
In the onlines. Bailey gives her rose to Jeremy, which is not surprising. Yeah. I think Kyle quickly fell into the friend zone. He just wasn't, it didn't feel romantic.
There wasn't enough heat.
You know what it felt like?
He was playing slow game in a place where you have to play light speed game.
Yes, and also there was an imbalance of power.
Yes.
You cannot have that. It is not a turn on when a guy's just like, you're so great, you're so beautiful, I like you so much. And you have all the, you're just sort of like, oh no, make me work for it.
Jeremy went out and got it.
Yeah, he did. No, I'll give Jeremy this. I do think Jeremy has game.
I agree.
Yes. Alex gives her rose to Jonathan, which is not surprising. Poor Ricky.
Yeah.
Jonathan
Ricky was bummed.
Jonathan was surprised. He said, I went into this with as little expectation as possible, which I wrote down because I just feel like that sums up Jonathan.
Oh, totally.
I think Jonathan does that.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't.
He's not letting himself be exposed to hurt.
Yes. He's not letting himself get excited about someone.
Yeah.
And partly because I don't know who is good enough for Jonathan to be excited about.
I guess Jen was, but she wasn't having it.
I don't even think he really got excited about Jen, if I'm honest. Yeah. He just plays it too cool. It's hard to know. So going home are Ricky, Hakeem, Sam, and Kyle, which I hate to point out, these 4 guys have
no clout. Hakeem had the most clout, sadly. Subjectively.
Well, so one guy with not much clout who's going through is Brian.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
true.
There you go. I don't want to.
But they had to have only 4 people, so someone without clout had to stay.
I don't want to make it all about clout. Okay, I just can't help but observe.
A lot of it's about clout.
I'm just observing.
And maybe, just maybe, the reason they have clout is because they're better. They're just better TV. They're better at talking to women. They're better at just being sexy. I don't know.
I think it's maybe better at being sexy.
Yeah, they're more sexy in whatever objective or subjective manner.
Okay, so Jesse arrives to say everything is about to change. And it looks like the Goldens are coming soon. Andy.
Mixed feelings. I will await judgment.
Do you want to say what your concern is?
My concern is it's just going to be silly. It's just going to be they're going to be like proctors at the summer camp.
Uh-huh. You think they're going to behave differently with them around?
Everyone's going to behave differently. The Goldens are going to behave differently, and the non-Goldens are going to behave differently than they would have without the 2 together.
Yeah.
And I know there'll be antics and hijinks, and you might have some intergenerational makeouts, which will be BS. I mean, let's face it.
Yeah, I think that happens once, and that was what was previewed.
They previewed it because that was a joke. Someone had to do it, right?
Yes.
Someone had to do that.
Yes.
But there's not going to be any relationships, which, by the way, would be cool, but it's not happening. So it's just going to be a gag. This is a gimmick. And I think that they went with this gimmick early on because they didn't realize how T this guy's show running would be.
How tetty. T stands for tetty.
Ooh, yeah, nice. But seriously, I think they were like, this is going to be last season of Paradise was, let's face it, a disaster. And they said, what are we going to throw at this? Let's throw the Goldens at it. Anything. They were a drowning man.
It felt like jumping the shark, as we
and
talked
now
about.
they are parasailing through this show, and they still have this relic of a gimmick. But now they're going to have to commit to it. And who knows? Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be good.
Andy, maybe you're just being change averse.
Change averse to Paradise?
Okay, and apparently there's a $500,000 prize, which
was interesting.
That makes things very
Where did they get this budget from? This show there was talk about this show getting canceled.
Yeah.
Now they suddenly can just give away $500,000.
Yeah, they threw money at this problem. And Andy, you said this guy, meaning Scott Tetty, is making a milkshake out of spoiled milk. So we're impressed with Scott Tetty.
Amazing work.
I'm probably saying his name wrong. Okay, so we have 3 more segments. First up is my best dressed. I have one lone best dressed this week. Let's see if you can guess.
Okay. I mean, this is very hard. I wasn't paying attention.
It's very hard.
I did
comment.
I'm going to go with Bailey.
Very good. It was her arrival outfit. It was sort of like a gradient sort of ombre situation it was like open in the front with an asymmetrical waist and like a sort of braided or twisted. Oh, it was amazing. She looked phenomenal. I mean, as Jeremy said, she looked tea.
Tea. I agree. I don't know what tea is, but she is tea.
I loved this look. Okay, Andy, a new segment. Who was our episode MVP? I have a couple.
How are you defining MVP?
Just like they stood out, they made the episode interesting.
This is tough.
I have an honorable mention, and it goes to Scott Tetty.
Oh yeah, I mean she's the winner
Star.
all around.
Okay.
For me, it's the women.
Okay.
I mean, you could say Spencer, but honestly,
Spencer is also an honorable mention.
Yeah, he's an honorable. Spencer's honorable mention. I also will give honorable mention to Alex.
I agree.
Nice,
yes, Alex
nice.
is my kind of tied / runner-up.
And I'm giving MVP.
Okay, to 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we have the same person. 1, 2, 3.
Kat.
Oh my God. Yes.
Very nice.
Kat is great. Paradise Television. She
Great.
gives phenomenal commentary, whether or not it's about her.
Yeah.
I just think her like, we love a man who is over 35.
Yeah, she's tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're sleepy or whatever. She's just funny.
She's great. And
Yeah.
I think she learned from whatever mistake she made in the previous Paradise.
Yeah.
Like she was smooth this time.
She's always kind of smooth though. She's a mess though. Kat
She'll
is good
become a
TV.
mess.
She'll
but
become
she was
a mess.
good. Kat,
Yes.
she is good. I want more Kat.
Okay. And finally, Andy, who would we go for?
This is tough.
This
I gotta
is
be
tough.
honest.
I know. Okay, we're gonna guess for each other.
It's tough because it depends. I'm going for like this, like marriage or
Who would, if you're on the beach, you're
am I
single?
going for?
Yes.
I'm going
Yes.
for. Who am I going for? Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna guess for you,
Okay.
Alex.
Yes.
I think that Alex is just like the right bubbly for you. I also like that she's so direct.
What's wrong with Alex? Well,
Nothing.
what's the downside of Alex?
Alex is fantastic. She's good TV while also being someone you'd want to be friends with, which is a very rare combination.
And she's Canadian.
Yes.
She's never said a single thing where I was like,
Totally.
ever. And everyone says
She also
something.
doesn't say stuff where you're just like, oh.
Nothing.
Like where it's just droning. Like she doesn't say
No.
stuff for the sake of saying
She
stuff.
doesn't say like, you know what? I really think our connection is really, I've been looking for a good connection and this is the connection and intentionality and,
Yeah.
and feelings and vulnerability. And
Yeah.
no, she just does stuff.
Even when she was complimenting someone on being intentional, I think this was her. She was like, you're very, what's the word? And he's like, intentional. She's like, yeah, intentional. Like even that, it's like, even there's a sparkle in that
Yeah.
moment. Yeah, she's great.
And the nervous stuff with Dale was like,
adorable.
that killed me.
I fell in love
That
with her.
killed
I would
me.
also go for Alex, to
I
be
know you
honest.
would.
Let's see if you can guess for me.
Kyle?
No.
But
I mean, I like Kyle. He's not funny enough.
yeah, I agree.
Maybe when you get to know him.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me think. Give me a second here. I think you're going to go for Spencer.
You're right. Very good, Andy. Spencer. Yeah, Spencer, I like a guy who knows who he wants.
Yeah.
It's attractive.
I like you. I like Spencer.
I'm
It's a good
interested in a
choice.
guy that's like, I like you. We have a good time. Who knows, maybe there's something better out there for me, but like, I don't need to, like, this is very good. I don't need to know about all my options to then commit. Like, this is excellent.
You don't have to sell. I like it. As a matter of fact,
it's a dying art to be able to just be like, I am happy with the bird in my hand.
Yeah.
That's a dying art.
Why
People
do
don't
you
know how to
keep
do that
selling it?
anymore.
I agree with you.
Because I think online dating has made everyone wonder, like, what's one swipe away?
So
Okay.
question.
Rant done. Okay, if you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram, and
TikTok.
leave us Apple and
Spotify.
podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Ruby.
Come on, good girl.
Okay.
Come on, right
Come
here,
on,
good girl. Come
come
on,
on.
Ruby. Ruby, come on. Come on.
No,
It's been a while.
She's getting a grooming soon.
Oh, you stinky
Oh my
girl.
God.
Oh my
She's
God.
getting
she's
so long.
stinky.
Okay. Come to mommy.
Okay, go to mom.
Come to mommy. Yes. Oh, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.